There's a lot of reasons you might want to re-scout your hunting area once the season is opened. Changing food sources come to mind. The amount of pressure the area is getting. Maybe you scouted an area and there's 3 or 4 guys hunting that same general area and you don't want to hunt in a crowd. The reason I'm up here is I picked an escape route for opening weekend and the wind did not cooperate. I couldn't get back there and hunt it. So I hunted my fallback area several times without success. I didn't see any deer at the other location. That's another great reason to re-scout, is if you're not seeing game. Don't just stay tied to the same tree if you're not seeing deer. Get out there and do some scouting. The scouting you do is the hunt. You should scout well enough so that when you go in for your hunt, you have a very high percentage of odds that you're going to see and get a shot at the deer the first time in your stand. Now, the first thing you're going to want to find are your food sources. They may be crop fields, they may be grass meadows. In this case, I'm back in the timber, and the food source is these acorns here. Now, this is actively dropping. I can hear these nuts dropping as I approached, and there's a bunch of them in here. But you can't be sure deer are feeding here, so a little closer inspection is in order. We're looking for droppings. The more, the better. Deer tend to void as they feed, and if you're finding droppings mixed in on this oak flat, you can be pretty sure they're feeding here. Now, you don't want old crusty droppings. You want to be sure that these droppings are fresh. That indicates the deer are coming here or have been here recently. Now, you've got to decide whether you're looking for an evening spot to hunt or if you want to hunt in the mornings. This being the place where deer are feeding, it would probably be better as an evening spot if I was going to give it a try. Now, since yeah, these oaks are dropping good. Since I'm looking for a morning spot, I'm going to do a little better inspection. What I'm looking for now are the trails the deer are using to access and depart from this oak flat. To do that, I'm going to stand in the middle of the oak flat and spin. Now, what I did just then was I looked at the cover that surrounds the oak flat. You can see the thicker areas here and here and here. Now, deer will go through that, but they prefer the course of least resistance, which led me to this side of the oak flat. It's wide open, and it drops off into a gully. Now, when I walked over here, I can see the deer trail heading out onto this oak flat here. So I'm going to head down this way and see what's over the rise. Okay. So I followed that trail over the top of the hill and started down the steeper part of the slope. Finding tracks in this leaf litter can be pretty difficult, but fortunately that's not usually necessary because deer don't like to go straight up and straight down hills. If they don't have to, they will move along the side of the slope. And as I crested the hill and came down, about 10 yards down the hill, this very obvious deer trail here going right down the bench on this slope. Now, if I was to hunt here in the evening, I'd be looking for a tree right around in here to get in, because what's going to happen is as the deer come down this trail and turn to go up on the flat, their attention is going to be focused up towards the top of the hill for danger, and this would be a good ambush point back here along this trail that they're traveling along the side of the hill. You could set right up on the food source, but you run the risk of being picked off, because when deer come into food, they are keenly aware and taking note of their surroundings before they move onto the flat to feed. So this would be a better choice for evening hunt. Since I'm looking for a morning hunt, I'm going to head on down this way and see. This should lead to bedding. I know this way is the oak flat in the field, so this trail should lead down to the bedding areas. This is where I run the risk of jumping deer, but I'm going to take that risk and head down here and see what it looks like. Okay, so I followed that trail off that oak flat for quite a little ways now, and the woods were pretty much the same. Mature hardwoods with mixed oaks. Some of the oaks are dropping along the way. But when I got to this point here, things changed. The 20 yards behind me here is a lot of second growth mixed with briar and dense cover. Now that's the type of area I would imagine the deer heading to bed in. And I don't really want to go much further back into it and bump these deer all over the county and push them off this pattern they're on. Good news though, I don't think I'm going to have to. Right here on this log in front of me are droppings. So I know they're using this trail. And right over there is what almost has to be an early scrape. Perfectly circular depression scraped out in the leaves with a hoof print in the middle of it. What a lot of people don't know is, well, late October, early November is generally considered the rut when people look for their scrapes. A small percentage of the older does do come into heat in mid-September and start the rut. They're ready to breed that early in the year. And if you can find a spot like this, it can be a gold mine, because I know bucks scrape on doe travels reds. And for this public land here, I'd be happy with a buck or doe. So I'm going to look for a spot right around in here with the tree 20-25 yards from the trail so I can get a shot on anything coming down through here. Okay, so we're all set up. I had one last stop to make on the way back to the truck. I don't know if you recognize this spot. It's greened up and grown out quite a bit since the last time I was here. But this is the spot, one of the spots I found last winter when I was filming post-season scouting for white-tailed deer. And I think I mentioned then it looked like a good spot for the rut. It was all rubbed up and scraped up, and I do believe I'm going to get back in here this year and hunt it during the rut. So I wanted to take a quick look around. But hey, if you want to see how we do at these areas we scouted, I'm going to be out trying to hunt next week. I guess I'm going to try to get in on an escape cover. If I get the right wind for it, I'm going to be back in these spots when the wind's not right. And I'm going to mix it up a bit. I'm going to do a little private land hunting too. Dana's already taken a 6-point. She took a 6-point in velvet her first time out. So if you want to see how we do, go ahead and subscribe to us. We're sharing the outdoors on YouTube. That's our channel there, and you can find us on the web at www.camochairproductions.com for all our fresh content.